A husband and wife both have great jobs. Both are trying to advance their career and work as much as they can, always taking on extra hours in accumulation of wealth, trying to make as much wealth as they can. But now they begin to see each other less and less. They have less time with their children, no longer go to church or pray together. You cannot serve both God and mammon. A student begins a new semester. They focus on studying and getting work done, trying to be as productive as possible, and never taking any time for leisure or friendships. As the semester progresses, they realize a once firm faith is gone. They have no social life, and once genuine, wholesome friendships have been neglected. You cannot serve both God and academics. Another spends their time constantly fixated on sports. They know all the sports news, the latest trades, worry about their fantasy football team, and spend all their free time in front of the television watching the fourth football game of the Saturday evening or Sunday, only to realize they have not prayed or had a genuine conversation with another person all day. You cannot serve both God and sports. Now, notice none of the examples above are bad things. All of these things are good. Sports, money, our school, they're good. Money used appropriately and allowing for stability is a good thing. Doing well in school should be a worthwhile pursuit. Students should aim to do that. Playing and watching sports can be a good leisure activity, time for relaxation. But the problem is when these things become our center, when they become idols. We allow good things to use and consume us instead of us using them. And then the material things, the good things in our lives, these relationships, they become false gods that pull and tug at our hearts. They take us different directions. It is not just mammon that we're not allowed to serve. We also cannot serve both God and anger, or God and envy, even God and friendships. Anything that leads to idolatry or pulls our heart away from service of the one God, we cannot enter into. But on the other hand, the good steward, God's faithful people, single-mindedly serve one master in all of the great and small things. Jesus holds up the good steward as one that is devoted to one master and prove himself reliable and trustworthy in all things. And as Jesus says, the person who is trustworthy in very small matters is trustworthy in great ones. So our lives are to be centered on God and all the situations that God presents to us. No one circumstance, no one thing that we enjoy doing is bad, but it's when it becomes an attachment, an addiction, an idol. In everything we do, all things that we do, a question can be discerned. And that question is whether this is leading me closer to or away from love and service of God. Everything we do should be leading us back to that relationship, leading us closer to God. We ask ourselves, Lord, is this leading me to holiness, or is this leading me away from you and from your love and from genuine relationships that are founded on God? And then when serving God, all of the ordinary and extraordinary acts of love become great moments of service as they're impacted by God's grace. So in each of our individual lives, how we live, how we conduct ourselves, how we serve God, will take different forms of responsibility. The faithful servant, the good steward, might be the mom or dad who faithfully cooks dinner or makes sure that the kids have something to eat and gets the children to and from soccer practice and music lessons. Maybe it is writing a note to someone going through a difficult time just to say you're thinking of them. Turning off the television show for a quarter of the ball game to have a meaningful conversation. It is the friends who meet up for coffee just because they want to see each other. The student who gives up some of their own study time to help a classmate or colleague struggling to grasp the concept. And it is taking time to pray each day, knowing that our strength and our loyalty is due to God. All of these moments of life are the small and great opportunities that God allows us to serve and love Him in, and allowing that love, His loving grace, to pour out to others, to be shared with others. When I was studying this gospel this week, I came across this quote from spiritual writer Fred Craddock, and I think he beautifully emphasizes this point of loving God in both the small and great things. He says, "Most of us this week will not christen a ship, write a book, end a war, appoint a cabinet, dine with a queen, convert a nation, or be burned at the stake. More likely, the week will present no more than a chance to give a cup of water, write a note, visit a nursing home, vote for a county commissioner, teach a Sunday school class, share a meal, tell a child a story, go to choir practice, and feed the neighbor's cat. Whoever is faithful in very little is faithful also in much." Most of our lives will be focused on these things, but that is precisely what the Good Steward does. Our time will be spent serving God in our parishes, in our families, in our friendships, and in our community, doing the everyday things that God calls us to. Most of our prayer will not be dynamic or ecstatic. It'll just be simple, quiet time spent with a God who loves us and pours Himself out to us in the quiet, in the stillness. Most of our service of others will be small things, hidden things, within our means to provide. God encounters us where we are at and calls us to love Him and love others precisely in the circumstances of our lives. And we use these circumstances then and the good things we have been given to grow in love of Him and love of all our brothers and sisters. So no, we cannot serve both God and the things of this world. But all of us can use the things of this world to serve God.